Knowledge is power. You've heard that since you were a kid, right? Knowledge is power. Not just knowledge that you get from books, not just intelligence, but wisdom. Knowledge about how others behave, the psychology of humans. Okay, there's a thing called gaslighting. I don't know if you've heard the term, but it usually happens in abusive relationships. As an example, this is an extreme example. It's not used ever. It's just an example to kind of explain what gaslighting is. It's basically like coming out and saying, you know, the grass is so green. Telling somebody that, and they're saying, "What are you talking about? The grass is red." And you say, "No, it's green." And then other people come and they say, "The grass is red." And then you start to question yourself. If everybody thinks the grass is red and you think it's green, then you start to question yourself, like, is it red? Like I said, that's just an extreme example. That's obviously not going to work with people. It's more subtle than that. So it'll just be, smaller things. But it also can be used when you're trying to explain something to somebody and they know what you're talking about, but they act like they don't. So let's say you're struggling to find the word or the words to explain something, like say a baseball bat, and you're like, those long wood things that you use and you hit a ball with, and the person you're talking to is like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. But there might be a person who doesn't know what a baseball bat is, but for the most part, the people who are not good people, who are trying to confuse you or control you, will act like they don't know what you're talking about. Like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? To try to confuse you. And that's also a form of gaslighting. Because why would somebody do that? Why would they act like they don't know what something it is you're talking about, even if you do? Like, I can't see myself doing that. Like, if somebody is trying to explain something to me and I know what they're talking about, I'm going to say, yeah, you're talking about, a baseball bat. Yeah, the baseball bat. All right, cool, yeah. But like I said, there's some people who purposely act like they don't know what you're talking about to, play games. But like I said, the most common form is basically making you think you're crazy. Like if you smell something weird, you're like, "Do you smell that?" Person's like, "No, I don't smell anything. I don't know. I don't know." That's gaslighting. So like I said, knowledge is power. You have to be aware of what people are doing, because if you're unaware and people are doing this to you, then it kind of makes you flabbergasted. It kind of makes you confused. It kind of makes you, question yourself. It messes with your brain pretty much if you don't know that people are doing it. And it puts you in a state of weakness. And when you're in a state of weakness, you're easier to be taken advantage of. You're easier to be controlled. Okay? That's why knowledge is power, wisdom is power. Because when you know it's happening, you're not going to allow, you'll be able to point it out. Like, you know what I'm talking about. I know you know what I'm talking about. You're acting like you don't know what I'm talking about. Or you don't even have to explain that to them. You could know in your mind what they're doing, because even if you say you know what I'm talking about, they can just say, no, I don't. So if you know in your mind, like, oh, this person knows what I'm talking about, but they're acting like they don't, then you can either steer the conversation, or you can change the conversation, or you can go in a different direction, instead of sitting there like, well, what do I do? You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people already understand this. They already know what this is and how to defend against it. But there's a lot of people out there who don't. And there's a lot of people out there who are in abusive relationships. There are a lot of people out there who this kind of thing happens to them and they don't know what to do. They're kind of confused. So there you go. That's gaslighting. It happens quite often. It could be done between family, friends, even through the media, making you think that you're crazy for not doing what everybody else is doing. Okay? But just because everybody's doing something doesn't mean it's right. And just because you're the only one not doing something doesn't mean you're crazy or that you're wrong. How long was slavery around? A lot of people were doing it, but it wasn't right. There were a few people, there were probably a lot of people that didn't do it as well, but that doesn't mean they're wrong. Just because the majority does something doesn't mean it's right. Just because the minority doesn't do something doesn't make it wrong. So gaslighting happens all the time, but like I said, knowledge is power, wisdom is power. If you're aware of it, you can avoid it, and you can, go your way through it. I'm trying to think of the word. I can't even think of the word. Like a maze when you're trying to. It's on the tip of my tongue. You know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about, okay? Don't try to gaslight me. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Don't allow people to gaslight you. Wisdom is power. God bless you.